Hello, this is Mark Denham, radio presenter, audio producer, podcaster, and voiceover. Today on the audio journey, part 38, we look at mastering. You can get the entire audio journey on the website, markdenham.com. We talk about setting up your recording space, picking it and getting it set up and equipped. And then we talk about recording your audio and things that you can do with your audio in terms of processing. Whether you are a voiceover, whether you're a voice actor, or whether you are a podcaster as well, all of them need different processing and stuff. So follow the audio journey on markdenham.com. 37 plus today's now 38 parts up on there. And if there are any questions, of course, you can use the contact tab to get in touch. Or if you're watching on YouTube, you can have a comment below and I will get back to you. Now, mastering. Mastering is adding final polish and processing to a mix. You'll no doubt have heard of this in terms of remastered songs and remastered albums. You'll see the albums that are maybe 10, 20, 30, 40, even 50 years old, going back to the Beatles, you'll see remastered versions. And, part of mastering is compression. Loudness maximizer it is as default in the Adobe Audition mastering. But you will see, if we have a look here at this is a song that I love, Nana Cherry and Buffalo Stance. Let me turn off the preview window. And that is the Nana Cherry Buffalo Stance from the original Raw Like Sushi album from 1989. There it is. That's the original version from my own collection here. And then the Raw Like Sushi album was remastered and reissued. Now look at the difference in that. That is different mastering. You can see there that has an awful lot of loudness maximizer on it. And it is pretty much, I'm not going to play it because then we'll get into trouble with copyright and stuff. But you can see it is really, really maximized the loudness of that. Whereas this one here from the 80s is a total, it's exactly the same song. I would play it for you if I could, but we're going to get into copyright trouble. It is exactly the same song, but it's just mastered very, very differently. And that is part of mastering. Let me take you through mastering in a moment. Firstly, one thing a lot of audio producers will say is that mastering is the very, very last thing that you do to your audio. And in general, it is. But I throw that concept out the window because there is one element of mastering that I would use in a mix. And I'll show you how I would use that in a mix in a moment. I've got here this is a voiceover that I have recorded for an album, which has already been processed, I have to say. Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables. Now, that is the already processed version of that audio, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back now and I'm going to pick up the original of that because what I should have done really was load in the original in the first place, shouldn't I? That's what I should have done. And then we would have been okay. But if I go back now and I get the original of that, I can then drag that in and I can show you some of the, let me see here, which one is actually an original of this. Let me have a little look. There we are. That looks much more original, doesn't it? Party Solutions Rental Services. Okay, so that's been EQ'd and everything, and that is ready to go. So we'll use that one. And we don't really need this one, which was the one that actually went with the video. Now, mastering. If we were just using that as a raw, dry voiceover, okay, so we don't want any background in that, we could then master it here. What I'll do is I will make a copy of this now, copy to new, and we'll work with this one first, okay? So we will imagine that this is just going out as a dry commercial somewhere. And what we can do is we can then go into our effects, we can go into special and mastering, and we'll start with the default here. There are loads and loads of presets that you can use in here. Subtle clarity is a good one. Stereo to mono will make your spread sound much, much, much less. Then you've got Dream Sequencer, Club Master, Bright Height, which will obviously, look at that, add a lot of exciter on. You've also got this little EQ curve here that you can manually manipulate. Going back to the other one I said is not too bad. Subtle clarity just provides a little boost in around about the 2K mark as well. A little bit of exciter, a little bit of reverb. We'll go back and we'll talk about what all of those are. Reverb, you know about, obviously. Let's start from here. Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables. We cover the entire... Reverb you know about, and obviously that then sounds like it's going to come, like it's come from a bathroom or something, or a large hall with absolutely no acoustic treatment. This is where I would now split mastering, because a lot of people will say, add it as your final. If this is a dry, going out as a dry commercial, then this is a final. Okay, so you could add a little bit of reverb on here. Let's just go 10%, see how that sounds. London and Kent. Choosing the right type and size of marquee for your special event is this. I'm going to pop open the preview window as well here so we can see what it is that we're doing and stick that over there. I reckon that's just too much reverb, so I'm just going to take that down a little. Essential. We provide free site visits to ensure you hire the right... No, still not happy. Go with 7. Marquee for your special event. There you are, just a little bit of reverb there. Exciter. What is the exciter? The exciter is how exciting the voice sounds by increasing the trebly sounds. Let's have a listen here without the exciter. Party Solutions Rental Services. That's without the exciter. And then if I whack that all the way up to 100 to show you, you'll hear now it's a much, much more crisp top-end sound. Party Solutions Rental Services. Now that's far, far too much because it's introduced a lot of sibilance, but you can see we can add on a little bit of exciter here, and we can just make that pop a little bit more at the top end. Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables. We cover the entire London and Kent. Choosing the right type and size of marquee for your special event is essential. We provide free site visits to ensure you hire the right marquee for your special event. So set it up by ear and also have a little look down here. Check out the preview window and make sure there's no harsh distortion up in the top end here when you add that on. If you look at what happens to the preview window when we whack that to 100, you'll see here it's very, very, very dark, and there is like some real overbearing high frequencies in there. But if we drop it down a little bit to, say, 35, then you'll see that's perfectly bearable. 31, in fact. I wasn't really very good at stopping at 35, was I? So let's have a little listen to that now. Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables. Now, widener. That is how wide your sound is in the headphones or in the speakers of whoever is listening. Obviously, a lot of voiceover will be in mono. This one is in stereo, but it has no stereo effect on it. So increasing this will make no difference to the voiceover really at all because it has no effect on it. Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables. We cover the entire London and Kent. Choosing the right type and size. So you can see there, if we take it all the way down to minus 100, that's effectively making it sound mono. If we put it in the middle at 0, then we're saying, no, don't add any widening to it. And if we boost it up to 100, we are saying, yeah, allow that wideness to come through. What I'll do, just to demonstrate that, drag that down one, and I'm going to add, let's say, a stereo effect. I'm going to add a bit of chorus to this now. Just the default, what should we go with? Default 5-voice chorus, okay? Now have a little listen to this. Widener at 0. Party Solutions Rental Services. You can hear that's already a stereo effect. Bang that up to 100 now. And what that does is that pulls the width of that stereo effect as far out as it possibly can be in just stereo sound. Obviously, the widener would work very, very different if you were working in, say, 5.1 or 7.1 or Dolby Atmos or something. Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables. So that's not too bad, you know, now that we've boosted that. I'm going to drop this down to just 2 and see if we could get away with using this for our production. This has already been done and sent off, by the way. It's just a voiceover which I happen to have. Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables. We cover the entire London and Kent. Now, because we're doing this just as a solo voice for a dry commercial, you can now play with the loudness maximizer. You can see there is a bit of dynamic range in that audio. What we can do here with the loudness maximizer, if we whack that all the way up to 100, this is a very powerful compressor. Watch the flat line. There it is. It's just boosted everything now, and it sounds 100% slammed in terms of the compression.
Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables. We cover the entire London and Kent.
There you go. Now, if you were to send that off to a radio station, while it may sound good in your headphones, it may sound good on your studio monitors, if you send that off to a radio station to play out as a commercial, it's going to be over-processed at your end, because by the time it then goes through their processing, it is far, far too heavily compressed. So whilst that may look really, really nice and you think, yeah, bang, done it, too much. Too much. So again, use this liberally. Let's look at 20% on the loudness maximizer. You'll see even 20% does make a difference to it. And all of a sudden you've got
Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables. We cover the entire London and Kent.
So you've done some mastering in terms of the loudness on that, but not too much. The last one is the output gain. If your audio is ridiculously low, originally, you may wish to add a bit of output gain to it. Shouldn't really ever need to take away, but you may wish to. Again, with that, you can obviously clip it. Adding 15 decibels to it now is going to massively clip that. And you can just see there already that's clipped. Let me turn down the volume and play it. Horribly clipped. So again, you can ruin your audio by using the mastering. This will make it much quieter because we're taking away from the final product. And there you go. I'm going to leave that at 0. And then what we could do here is we could say, we're happy with that. As a dry voice, we are happy with that to go out as a commercial. So,
Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables.
There you go. We could say, we're perfectly happy with that now. But that's fine. Apply it. And done. Now, where would I throw the concept of using that as the very last step out the window? Well, what I could do now is I could make this into a commercial. All right. So I go in here and I start a new multi-track session. Don't need a template for the purposes of this. So on track 1, I will have the voiceover. On track 2, I will have some music to go underneath it. You can see here that this music doesn't actually fit the production. What we'll do first is we'll trim the in here, and then what we'll do is we'll stretch the music out just a little bit by using a bit of Adobe's intelligence, the remix feature. So what we're doing is we're just trimming off the front, we're just trimming off the end so we know how long this voiceover is. We will leave a little bit just in case we add any reverb on. We're looking at, let's say, 52 seconds there. What we can do here with this music, which is not long enough, if you go into the properties of this music, you can now enable remix. Adobe Audition will now do its very best to get you a version of the music at the length that you want. Stretch to exact duration, and we want 52 seconds. So we enter 52 seconds. You can also drag that out as well, because you can see here like it finishes and there's a bit of silence at the end of that. So we just drag that out just a little bit here, and you'll see now it's done a remix which lasts exactly as long as we want. So I'm just going to do this very simply to highlight the mastering here.
Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables. We cover the entire London and Kent. Choosing the right type and size of marquee for your special.
Okay, so there's your voice. That's on track 1. We're going to go back in. We're going to add on there a little bit of chorus, modulation and chorus. We just use 2 voices and that's all we need here. Now, where would I throw out the concept of using the mastering as the very last bit?
Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables.
So that doesn't sound too bad, does it? But you can add in elements of the mastering, at this early stage. Start again with the default. And you could add in, because we're just doing this on track 1, which is the voice, we could add in a bit of reverb. you don't really want to reverb the music. So that's why I would advocate using mastering as a two-stage process. If you're going to use it on your voice, then that's good. But then you can also use it on the final, but do not use the same thing twice. So a bit of reverb. Let's settle on 7, shall we?
We cover the entire London and Kent.
And a bit of exciter. I can't remember what we settled on this, but let's try 20.
Choosing the right type and size of marquee for your special event is essential.
And because we've got that chorus, we are going to bang the widener up. And that is where I would stop now on that. That is as far as I would go with that voiceover in terms of the mastering.
Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables. We cover the entire London and Kent. Choosing the right type and size of marquee for your special event is essential.
Okay, so that is that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix that down with the mastering applied just to the voice, because I don't want to add reverb or exciter to the music, and we have our final mix down.
Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables.
Now, I would finish the mastering on the final product, special mastering. Start with the default again. Don't want reverb. We don't want to be adding reverb to the whole production because that adds reverb to the background music as well. Again, don't add exciter. When you get background music and stuff like that, it will normally be mastered. You may be making a radio promo, for example, talking over the start of a song. The music will already be mastered. So too, if you've used sound effects, will the sound effects. You can add the widener here. Even though we've already added it to the voice, you can add a bit of widener again. And we're just going to go for a maximum stereo separation here. And let's have a listen.
Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables.
And then maybe we just want to tidy up our final levels a little bit by adding that little bit of loudness maximizer. And there we are. Now we have a commercial mastered in 2 separate bits that we could send out to be broadcast. Because you can see reverb. We only really want reverb on a voice. Exciter. Again, we only want exciter on a voice. We do not want to be adding reverb and exciter to the final mix down if it includes music and sound effects as well. All you want to be doing at the final stage is perhaps adding a bit more stereo separation in terms of the widener and a bit of loudness maximizer. And if you need it, the output gain. Going back to the actual multi-track session, though, you can see here that the mastering we have done here doesn't have any loudness maximizer at all, because let me just mix this down again now for you. I'm going to mix this down again, and this will be mix down 2. All right. So we've got mix down 1 here. That is mix down 1. Here it is with a bit of mastering. Let me apply that. Okay. So that is your final commercial with the mastering done.
Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables. We cover the entire London and Kent.
And there's also still a bit of dynamic range in there as well, which is good. This is without any mastering. The mix down with just the mastering on the voice, no final mastering.
Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables.
And then one more thing I'm going to do here, which is why I would say that when you master in 2 very, very different stages. I'm going to whack on some loudness maximizer to this voice and now mix it down. And you'll see a slightly different waveform here because I have done mastering of the loudness of the voice.
Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables.
Now, if you add on the final mastering, as I suggested doing it in 2 stages, you can see here, if we add on back to the default, add on 20 and add on the stereo separation, you can see that that is now very, very different to the one where we didn't add anything on. So Mixdown 3 had the loudness maximizer on the voice. Mixdown 1 didn't, but has final mastering on it. Mixdown 2 didn't have the loudness maximizer in the multi-track view and has no mastering either. Look at the difference then between that one with a bit of dynamic range left and this one with virtually none.
Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables. We cover the entire London and Kent.
So just remember, any loudness maximizer that you use in the mix, because I do think you should use it for reverb and exciter and widening of any stereo vocal effects added. I think you should use that in the mix. But any loudness maximizer you use in the mix limits the amount of loudness maximizer that you can use when you have finally mixed it down in that final stage. Because I think this one here,
choosing the right type and size of marquee for your special event is essential.
I think this one here is going to sound better on final broadcast than this one.
Choosing the right type and size of marquee for your special event is essential.
Let me just mock that up for you very, very quickly using Adobe Audition's built-in multi-band compressor with the broadcast preset. Let's have a listen.
Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables. We cover the entire London and Kent.
There you go. That is the one with the loudness maximizer in the voice, which does sound to me just a little bit boomy. We'll add the same compressor on here. This had no loudness maximizer on the voice, just has it on the final production.
Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables. We cover the entire London and Kent.
There you go. There is mastering for you. So a lot of audio producers will say, stick to mastering as your final process. And that's all good. But for me, I would say in terms of what Adobe Audition offers you, if we go back to this multi-track session here and select this one, in terms of what Adobe Audition offers you, kill off the loudness maximizer there. Make use of this. You may be doing, let's say, something Halloween-y. If you're doing something Halloween-y, then you can afford even more reverb. So don't turn the fader down while you're still doing the stream. How about that?
Chairs and tables. We cover the entire London and Kent. Choosing the right type and size of marquee for your special event is essential.
So that's a powerful tool that you can use there. You could obviously achieve the reverb by going into your effects rack and adding studio reverb. The exciter is the one where it's a little bit trickier to do because you've got to be exciting the right frequency. So again, kill off the reverb, take that down to 7 again. The exciter is a great tool to use for mastering the voice.
We provide free site visits to ensure you hire the right marquee for your special event. We provide quality marquees at the best price, and all our marquees are made of heavy-duty waterproof materials, making it suitable for winter and summer periods. We provide...
Don't go overboard with that, and again, if you have used, we've used chorus here, if you have used a stereo effect, open up the width in the widener. No harm in opening up the width twice in your maximizing, in your final mastering, sorry. But do not, please do not use this loudness maximizer twice in your mix. I just don't recommend it at all. And the other thing is, when you get to your final mix, and let's go back to mix down 2, this is mix down 2, which has no loudness maximizer or no mastering applied at all. So all I'm going to do here is drag this up out the way, start with the default, and then if I take this loudness maximizer to 100 again, you've got that massive flat line, which is going to sound horrible by the time it goes through output processing, wherever it's going to. If you're just processing for YouTube or something, you don't really need to worry about that. But if you are processing for anything that's going to go on any form of radio or broadcast or whatever, please don't go too overboard on the loudness maximizer.
Party Solutions Rental Services. We hire marquee, chairs and tables. We cover the entire London and Kent.
There you go. Now you've left room for the final processing as well. So hopefully that has been of help to you in understanding mastering. Don't be afraid to use elements of the mastering in your mix in terms of mastering the voice. Again, if you've got multiple voices, I would suggest in terms of the exciter, I would certainly suggest that you master each voice differently in a multi-track. Maybe you have a male and a female that you are producing into a commercial. Master them and equalize them differently in the multi-track, but then you could bus them and you could reverb them and widen them the same, or you could choose to just do it on each individual track. So here we have a male voice and some music. Maybe you also have a female voice to go in with that as well. So I would suggest that you, in terms of the mastering, certainly do the exciter on an individual basis, because everybody has different voices, different microphones, and the frequencies in the voice will all be different. So you can't set a global exciter level. Somebody may have a slightly more prominent, higher tone voice, so they don't need much exciting, whereas other people may have used a microphone that is less responsive in the high frequencies, and you could therefore add a little bit more exciter. It has to be done on an individual basis, and it's also done to your ears as well, hence why it's important to use headphones that are actual studio quality headphones. I know that there's a lot of people who love the Beats headphones and things like that. They do have a lot of processing in them already, so you get to hear what Apple and Dr. Dre believe are the frequencies that you should be hearing, which is great for music. In terms of audio production, it's not. You need headphones that are flat response. Again, the same with your studio monitors. No point in mastering with your PC speakers because generally they're rubbish. But even if you have got top-end PC speakers, they will have been tweaked to accentuate certain frequencies that the manufacturers believe are the ones you want to hear. So in terms of producing audio, cannot stress the importance of having proper studio headphones and proper studio monitors, because only then can you hear how the actual production sounds without any enhancement. So you are then mastering it. Indeed, you're recording it, you're equalizing it, and you are processing it and mastering it with absolutely no confusion at all. You are hearing it as it sounds, just like this flat line here. That is what studio monitors will sound like. That is what studio headphones will sound like. If we have a look at some of these, for example, that may be what your headphones, if they're not studio headphones or your speakers are set to output. So please, when you are finalizing your audio, make sure you do it on studio headphones with flat response and also studio monitors with flat response to make sure you get the sound that you want. That's it for mastering. Hope this has been of some help to you. As I did say at the start, if there are any comments, markdenham.com, use the contact tab on there and you can get in touch and I'll get back to you. Alternatively, stick a comment in the video below. If you are watching on YouTube, stick your comment there and I'll get back to you as well. Go away, have some fun with mastering. Don't overuse it. Whatever you do, don't overuse it. Make yourself some amazing audio.